Welcome back. Maybe. I don't know. Where have you been? I've been here. Welcome to welcome to another exciting episode of Much More Ado About Nothing, and I'm here with my good friends,
Susan
and Ben,
and they know their names, and I'm Francis, and just glad to be back. We've been running around. We've been crazy lately. I myself was at a Hooters watching UFC 265 last night. Very exciting. I don't know what's going on in UFC. The things I don't like about UFC, and I mean, because first of all, when I first started watching UFC, it's a turnoff for me because watching dudes roll around with other dudes, or even chicks roll around with chicks, and I would not want body parts and pieces in places where they're not supposed to go. Maybe.
No, I'm not until you try it, Francis.
Right, exactly. Who am I? So the whole I'm gonna grapple with somebody and be sweaty and bloody just kind of grosses me out. That's in my gross list. I have two things that bug me.
Let's go to the gross list.
Yeah, that gross list, like sweaty, same-sex blood mix sweat thing. Ugh. The other thing is I just hate the spit valve on wind instruments.
That's fair. Well, and brass, right?
Yeah.
Like
super gross.
Yeah, I was in band, and it was always so disgusting when the trumpet players would clean out their spit valves. So gross. Even thinking about it. Ugh.
Very gross.
Really disgusting.
Yeah, and they just my daughter was a trombonist. You know, she played the bones.
Yeah.
And she would just like, and it was just like, oh, gross.
What's your third thing? You said there were three.
Well, I don't want to share
Okay,
that's
fair.
It's sort of.
Why did we stop talking about spit valves?
So you don't.
I know, isn't it like?
Wrap it up.
So the third thing is watermelon makes me gag.
Oh yeah,
really?
That's funny.
That's weird. I know it's weird.
Look what's sitting right next to it. This was unplanned.
No, I'm not just looking at it.
Eating. You actually have to taste it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll bring you some later.
Yeah.
I can't eat watermelon. It makes me gag.
Oh, watermelon's kicking the computer.
It's also rolling around on the table.
It's on the loose. We've let it free.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So what did you guys do?
Today? Well, yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
We went our local fire department has
a
street dance, a little town festival.
Oh, nice.
Fundraiser for the fire department. So we went to that last night, heard some music and whatnot.
Went to Dairy Queen.
Went to Dairy Queen.
A little bit because it was hot.
It was very hot. It's still hot today.
Yeah.
And then today.
You decided also on the hottest day of the year here. What did you decide to do in your house?
Well, I last year committed myself to a charity event where I would cook dinner with some friends and auction it off. And so we randomly picked the day, and that day happened to be today. Mm-hmm. So today I cooked 14 Cornish game hens in my oven. And it is over 90 degrees outside, and it's about 180 degrees inside. Yeah. So I am a little sweaty. I'm a little dehydrated. Yeah. But I'm glad to be here with you guys.
So you may pass out at any moment.
It is a certainty, yes.
And there's not even 14. That's like even more than the song 12 Days of Christmas. I don't even get to 14. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
To be fair, I committed to 10. But then I wanted one for each of the chefs, including myself, so that we could also eat. And I made one for Susan as well.
But they were also spares. Like those were also the spares in case
I screw something up, which I didn't. So,
but Susan, you did not help with this endeavor.
I did, unfortunately. I did help.
Did not consider you a chef.
What?
He did not consider you a chef.
Oh, you're correct. Because he said for the other chefs, you're right.
And Susan. 3.
Susan did help with
and I did most of the seasoning.
Too bad you're not a chef.
You did seasoning, yes. Susan did help quite a bit.
Yes,
so,
but not a chef.
Not a chef.
She's a chef.
Saucier, perhaps maybe a
saucier, yeah.
Thanks for getting me in trouble, Francis. I appreciate our time together. But it was a lovely day. That the people were happy, so it all worked out.
Good.
Raise some money.
So
Now, let's go back to USC for just a sec.
Sure.
You ever place money on those games?
Actually, you know what? With my daughter, well, because I have issues, and so with my daughter, to keep it interesting, we would put. I got the little app for one of the, companies that where you can do it by app now. So I did, as a matter of fact.
Did you really? Did you win?
Know me, and that I would throw a little cash on that.
Yeah, just make it fun.
Sure. So it's so funny that we went for the main event.
Yeah.
It's like this French guy battling this guy who's knocked out a ton of people. Okay, so
I can tell you're really into the sport. Yes.
Yeah. And so I have no clue. I am the guy they are counting on at every one of these sports books to make money.
Right.
So I bet on that one pretty much based on commercials. That's why I went. And so I bet on the main event. And I did that one first. I put $20 on the main guy or whatever. I actually on the underdog. And so on the other two fights, because we just watched the fight, like the main, and I just put like $15 on those, and I won those two without any knowledge of what I was doing. I went one with the guy because he just looked better.
Yeah.
And then the other guy because he was crazier.
Nice.
And so that was like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go with him and I won. So I actually was ahead until
you netted money.
Then I was still ahead. But only by $2. So I made
that's not bad.
Last night as I was betting with my daughter as we making money, So that makes it interesting.
When we were kids, we would go up to the horse track like once a year with my family because we like looking at the horses. Yeah. And my dad would place bets for us with dollar bets, right? Sure. And my sister would do very, very well. She's 2 years younger than I am, and so she was probably like 5 or 6, and she would pick the horses with the fun names.
Okay,
and that is a winning strategy
for her
because she would do very well, and the rest of us would just lose all of our money.
Yeah, I'm not good at picking horses either. One time I got so frustrated, I put like $1 or a $2 bet on every horse in a race, so I would win. So I could say I won.
That's not a good strategy.
Oh, it's there's two strategies. One, I just want to win at any cost, and two, I want to make money. Obviously,
I guess if one of the horses has like 30 to 1 odds, maybe you would win.
But I think it all works out that if you do that, you're just gonna,
Yeah.
And that horse didn't win anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, no, I won. I won, but I lost.
Yeah.
So I'm just to tell you, having tried that strategy, I tried it. It didn't work. So yeah, if you're gonna go with the long shot, you might as well just bet the long. Because that's the other thing. I only bet the long shots. And because those are more fun. Because then you win like $100.
Right.
Otherwise, if you play the favorite, you bet $1, you get like $1.50 back. Like, woo! I got 50 cents.
Yeah, big money.
Yeah, exactly. But if you bet $1 in the long shot, you get $50.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I did this weekend. Except I did watch Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Ooh, we also watched Suicide Squad.
I understand you saw it in the theater.
We did see it in the theater.
Now, I know we didn't plan on talking about it too much, but Suicide Squad. Tell us a little background on Suicide Squad.
I'll let Ben do this one, so you know the most.
I know a considerable
people
amount.
might already know there was already a Suicide Squad, and this is the Suicide Squad, and it's not really a sequel.
It stars.
It's like a half reboot, half sequel.
Right, a couple of people are still the same actors. Yeah. Like Margot Robbie is still Harley Quinn, and Joel Kinnaman is still Rick Flag.
Yeah.
So it has some of the same actors in it, but it's been rebooted. From a pretty terrible movie that was released a couple years ago to a pretty fun movie It was made by James Gunn, who you might know as the director and writer of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel. Then so he was supposed to direct the third one, the third Guardians movie. Then some people on Twitter found some old tweets that were really not very nice. And so Disney fired him.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he was like, oh, well, I'll go make a movie for Warner Brothers, who owns DC, which is Batman and Superman. For all of you at home and who don't know.
Right.
So then he got this
This
job.
show does come with a primer if you need it.
That's right. That's right.
Susan, I think, needs it right now.
I do.
She knows the basics.
Yeah.
So anyways, so he directed this movie, and then he's currently working for Marvel on the third Guardians. They rehired him for that job.
Right.
So that should bring us up to speed. Francis, what did you think of this movie?
It is so funny because my description of the movie would be exactly the opposite from yours, insofar as I like the first one.
Oh no!
I did not like.
Oh no! All right, let's get into it.
Yeah. What did you like about the first one?
Okay. Now, first of all, I did not like the director's cut of the first.
Okay.
One. I like I saw it in the theater.
Theatrical
release is much better. The director's cut that they brought out later is awful. It's too.
I
never saw the director's
Yeah, I didn't
cut.
know they even made a cut of it.
Yeah. And it's too long. It's awful. But the original Suicide Squad, I like the Joker. I like Jared Leto's Joker.
Ooh,
I'm the only one. I know that. I understand that. I like the music. I like that it was a simple story that followed through. It's a roller coaster movie, but it doesn't try to be more than that.
Okay.
So I liked it. I thought the characters were good. I liked I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. The new one I thought was a little I thought the scenes were too long. It was a 5-act movie again. I don't remember if the original Suicide Squad movie was a 5-act, but I'm not a big fan of the 5-act. It's sort of like they resolved the problem that they were there for. They did whatever they had to do.
And then there's the last part of the mission.
Yeah, then they add in the 5th act, which is, wait a minute, let's go do this other thing. And then, or we got to do something else. Sometimes the 5th act is, we're going to redo what we just did.
Yeah.
So I did not like that. I thought it was too long.
It is a long movie. It is like, especially for a comedy.
Yeah.
It's what, 2.5 at least?
Yes. And the funniest people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like give away too much, but I thought the funniest people in the movie were gone way too soon.
Yeah.
I thought the humor went down. I thought like some of the fun stuff was not as good. So yeah, I mean Twitter loves it. People love this movie. But I was just sort of like, I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. Maybe I had higher expectations for it. But I did see it at home on HBO Max just to fuck over anybody who had residual money coming in on and had points going on. That's why I did that, just to say fuck you Hollywood. I'm sorry. Fuck you movie stars.
Yeah.
Get 'em. Bold stance for Francis.
Yeah.
Susan,
exactly.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I liked it better than the first one. I will say Jared Leto's Joker gets a lot of like crap, but I do feel like Jared Leto was told it was a different movie than what it was.
Yeah.
I feel like he thought he was in like a more serious adaptation. So I don't think it's his fault that people think his Joker doesn't fit the movie well. I feel like it's because it got re-edited and, there's all the after production stuff that went on.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like Jared Leto did a bad job as the Joker. I just feel like he was in a much different movie than the rest of the cast.
And what do you think of the new one?
I liked the new one a lot. I liked the pace. I do, at the beginning, I was kind of disappointed that all those characters were gone so quickly.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's a big spoiler. Because I just wanted to see, and I was really excited that guy from Conan O'Brien was one of them.
Flula Borg.
Yeah, I wanted him to be in it more.
Who plays Javelin.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. I liked the villain in the second one better than the first one.
Yes.
For sure. Thought it made more sense.
Yes.
Despite both of them just being.
You mean Starro, the villain?
Starro the
Spoilers.
Conqueror.
Starro is, Francis, you probably know this. That was the very first Justice League villain that they fought. That's who they united to fight for in the original comics.
Right, right.
So that's a big throw in for the fans.
Right.
And I thought they did a fun job incorporating Starro, even though Starro's not much of a character.
Mhm.
It's mostly just a monster for them to try to fight. But I thought the comedy in this movie mostly landed. There were a couple jokes I'm like, not so much, but I thought it was very funny. The scene where they Bloodsport and Peacemaker come into the camp, and they attack the camp. I thought that scene was really great. And it was a fun movie. It's not like a serious movie. It's very different than the other DC stuff, which I like.
Now, I did read, and I don't trying to not do spoilers here.
I just did some huge ones. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
The Peacemaker character, I think people know this, is actually going to be spun off into a series.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to have an
John
HBO
Cena.
Max show.
What's that?
He's going to have a show on HBO Max.
Right. And so there is a post movie or post credit video thing. So stay for that. I thought that it's okay. I mean, that it's funny because my daughter hated his costume.
Yeah.
It's very goofy.
But it's close to the original Peacemaker costume.
Yeah.
So there is, and by the way, one of the early characters that you meet is TDK, which I won't give it what that stands for, but TDK was actually a character in the DC universe.
Yeah, these are all real characters.
Yeah, yeah. There's nobody that they've made up for the movie. They're all characters in the that it's one of those stupid ones, but yeah. Like I said, I thought that it's just interesting to me how they marketed this movie as James Gunn. I mean, he is like he's like out there on the selling point of this movie. So that's sort of interesting. It just seems to me like DC has no vision now, no unified vision. It's all one-offs now.
Yep, that's true.
So,
and I don't know if that's bad because it makes it more creative to watch. Like all the Marvel movies, a lot of criticism of them is that they all kind of are the same, right? They follow the same basic structure. They're normally fighting a giant laser at the end, some kind of sky beam or whatever, for the most part. I think giving the movies more creativity to be different from each other, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, it's sort of like, have you read DC Comics? Like, none of them are the same, you know?
That's true.
There's no unifying tone or anything like that. And I think that's a good thing. It makes it more creative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as somebody who doesn't read the comics, Susan, what do you think? Like, if you were to, I know you've been thrown into this world because of Ben, but if you were just to go see
dragged into it.
Yeah, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to see this, are you kind of like, because you're coming at it like you have no idea who Suicide Squad is. I mean, you know Harley Quinn from the movie before, but you come into this. What do you see as a difference, like compared to like the Marvel Universe movies? What do you see?
I definitely think. I mean, Marvel and DC, I have no idea the background, so I can probably have more fun with it than someone who's like really worried about them sticking to canon or whatever. I do think DC does a better job when they pick a lane, either like we're gonna make this a serious movie or we're gonna make this a fun movie. I feel like when DC is not successful, it's like because they filmed a movie to be serious, but then decided in editing they want to just be more like Marvel. And I feel like DC I think it's happening less now. Like from Wonder Woman on, I feel like they've gotten better about just like doing their own thing and not trying to be Marvel's cinematic universe.
Right.
That's what every movie I was like, I feel like they should have just kept this gritty or kept it funny and not been like, oh, I felt like, I don't know if this makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
the executives panicked. We're like, Marvel's doing really well. We have to make the first Suicide Squad be more like the Marvel movies. And it's like, no, you can just have it be whatever it was supposed to be. I don't know, but yeah.
Like sometimes I think that DC, I mean, I think that, well, as an aside, like when Deadpool came out, that was like Sony and had nothing to do with the Marvel
That
universe.
was Fox, yeah.
And that was a very violent film. Remember, it's like,
Yeah.
the first R movie, and then they did Wolverine as an R because that was so popular. I thought Suicide Squad was just as violent, if not more so, than the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was a very graphically violent.
The new Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the new.
Yeah, it was very violent. There were times in the movie I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a rated R, to be honest
I
with
didn't
you.
either.
I thought it was a PG-13, but when they started dropping F-bombs and chopping people up, I was like, oh, that's what this movie's like. And, you know, James Gunn comes from, he has some, like, if you've seen Slither or some of his earlier works, he comes from like a very gory background of films, not all of them, but that is like obviously something he enjoys. And it is fun to just watch a goofy movie where, you know, stuff blows up and things get crazy. But I will say, you know, to Susan's point, how she doesn't care about the characters' backstories or that it's not faithful or whatever. Like that's one of the things I didn't like about the old Suicide Squad, the one that David, I think it's David Ayer.
I don't remember.
Whatever. I hated the character designs, you know, with like, you know, Joker's stupid tattoos and all of that stuff. I just thought it tried to be edgy without being edgy. It was trying so hard, but it wasn't like scaring me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. You know, the other thing is, I don't know the whole story why Will Smith didn't reprise the role. I know there was this issue going on, and that's why because I'm sure that it could, you know, Bloodsport could have easily been Deadshot.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So I think there was an issue. I just don't remember it. But,
yeah, there was, and I know Will Smith is one of the reasons it got re-edited, right? Because he wanted a bigger part or something.
Oh, he did. But I don't know if that was
before, or that was why it was rewritten the first time.
I think it was rewritten
because he wanted more lines. Yeah.
Well, regardless, I think also, you know, getting Will Smith in your movie is extremely expensive, right?
Yeah, and that might have been it. That might have been the problem right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably wanted to
Idris Elba's got to be pretty expensive.
Yeah, but not Will Smith.
You don't think so?
And I think that Will Smith requires you to give one of his family members a job too.
Yeah, that's true. If you're paying Will Smith, you also have to pay
Jaden or Jada.
Willow,
Jada.
Jada.
The kid. The one that shakes her hair around, throwing her hair back and forth. You know, whatever. You got one of them's got to be in there. So, you know, overall, how many Mannies are you gonna give this? Let's go with. I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm the more disappointed of the three.
And it's out of 5.
And it's out of 5. 5 Mannies. 3.5 on this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of
higher than I thought. I guess I would give it 4.5 Mannies.
Wow, that's very generous.
Is it? I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good.
I'm gonna give it 4.25.
Oh, okay.
Because I did enjoy the movie, but it wasn't like, it didn't blow my socks off of like, oh man, that's the movie you gotta go see. No, we'll get to one of those. And I'll tell you, you know, when I'm super impressed. But
you're like super hard on these movies.
I'm very hard on them. But even though I
give out 5s like I do,
people will probably like it.
But see, I think that's the other thing is too. I think I had such an expectation for that's always the killer. If you have like high expectation for a movie, you know, you're like, oh man. So I always try to wait to. I don't want to know too much. But like I said, a lot of people and some people we know were popping up Facebook, Twitter. Oh, best movie ever! This is fantastic. Right. You know, so I'm just not one of those people. I don't know, but you know, I'm not the target audience for this anymore. You know. So.
Oh, Francis, you always be the target audience for these movies.
You're number one in my heart. Anyway, well, you know, so I think that that's kind of the show. But, you know, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. But also, Ben and Susan, you're still doing that fantastic stuff over on your real show. How's that going?
Well, this is also our real show.
Well, it's
Um,
kind of real.
Yeah, we're still doing Life in the Credits. Much like so you can follow both of these shows on Twitter, I should also say. Life in, I think it's Life in Credits on Twitter because of the character limit.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. It's a podcast. We talk to people who work in the film or TV industries about their jobs, and we talk about movies, and we play games with them. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then
And Francis has been on it
yes,
himself.
and he'll be on it
Because
again.
I'm in the porn industry.
That's right.
Yep, all that.
So that was an adult only show.
That's on our. You got to get to on our Patreon to get access to
Exactly.
content.
Do not promise that. Yeah,
I'm trying to find where is. Hold on, I want to say the Twitter for this show too.
Oh, it's much more ado one or something.
Yes, much more ado one.
You know, why did they let me create the Twitter account?
It's all right.
That's
The character limit, man, and then there's too many accounts.
Yeah.
Well,
But
guys,
yeah,
thanks for joining.
So check out both shows.
We'll see you next time on Much More Ado About Nothing. I'm Ben.
I'm Susan.
I'm Francis.
It's hot out here.